Hi everyone. This week's podcast, I am very pleased to say, will feature Mummy Maxine and Daddy Derek. They are two very well established members of the ABDL community who have, in some cases, experienced a raw deal at the hands of the media. Mummy Maxine is a charming lady who is caring, kind, and considerate. And Daddy Derek has had experiences on both sides of the fence as an adult baby and as a daddy. So, who better to talk to our community about our community? So, I hope you enjoy. Hi, Mummy Maxine. Welcome to the Adult Baby Nursery podcast.
Hello.
It's lovely to have you on today's podcast, and I'm very sorry to hear that you've been ill, but it's fabulous to have you back in our adult baby community.
Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. Can you rotate this? Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them about you and Daddy Derek, and also tell them how you became part of the ABDL community?
Yes. Well, my husband and I have been together about nearly 38 years now, and he actually introduced me to adult babies without even realising it. He was an adult baby, but back then it didn't say adult baby. You were just an infantilist, which I don't like and he doesn't like.
I agree. I don't like.
No, and so I was helping his mother one day do housework, and I found a pair of plastic pants under his pillow, and then I bandaged him in front of him, asking him what they are.
Every baby's fantasy.
And I knew he meant the bed because he had a childhood problem of it, and I was familiar with that because I had an ill granny, and one of my cousins had that problem, so I was familiar with sort of wetting the bed and that sort of thing. And he just broke down and cried in front of me.
Dear, that's awful.
You just broke your heart. Yes. He wanted to tell me sooner than later because he thought I'd walk. But I thought, he's got to love me breaking his heart like that. And how could I ever turn my back on him? Because
well, that's a lovely way to accept it.
He didn't understand it, and I didn't. And I mean, I was, 19, and you were about 21, and there was no internet. So all that I found was there was something you found on forum, didn't you?
Yeah, I found an advert in forum.
And then we joined the Hushabye Baby group, but we won't speak about that. That was a mistake.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
It was. Well, Mummy Hazel put our private phone number into the actual magazine.
Oh, dear.
And we were living with my parents at the time. So we had people ringing up saying all sorts of things. So we had a couple of months where we were running to the phone.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah. So we left the group, and she finally took us off the list about 12 years later.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, so that was a little bit of a nightmare. We've made a few mistakes, as you do.
We all do.
Yeah. So that's how I actually learned about adult babies through Derek, and through experiencing things together and looking together. And because he was so scared, and he didn't really know what he was scared of.
Yeah, but that's wonderful that you embraced what his need was. So that says a great deal about you as a person.
It also shows that there's so many people in that situation now, younger generations. So to show how he you know, opened up to you, and how you didn't just say, "Oh no, go away, you're disgusting."
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's amazing.
To me, that says a lot
And
about
it's love as
Mummy
well.
Maxine,
Yeah, it
that
does.
you are a kind and tolerant person.
Yeah, it's a really nice story.
That's lovely.
I hope so, and it wasn't easy. I didn't understand it, and I couldn't tell my mother, certainly.
No, I imagine that. Yeah,
No, of course you could.
but you stuck together.
Yeah, and I couldn't talk to anybody else. And we met other people, but they were other adult babies. I only met one other lady whose husband was an adult baby, and both times I met her, she was heavily pregnant. So she really wasn't interested in what I was saying, and she couldn't sort of say, "Oh, well, my husband does this, he does that. What does yours do?" I never had that.
Yeah.
And I never really ever had that. And then we we found our own little place. It was a tiny little caravan, but it was tiny, and we owned it, and we could shut the door on the world. It was about 32 feet long, wasn't it? But it was ours.
Well, go on.
All right.
Okay.
And then he could sit there in a nappy and his little pants and his t-shirt, and all his mates were like, "Oh, she's got you under the thumb. You know, he should be down the pub with me, or he should be out with his mate." And he couldn't tell them he was right where he wanted to be, me looking after him.
Yeah, he was being himself.
Yeah, he was being looked after and happy, and that's amazing. And as for the caravan, I lived in a caravan for a year while we were doing a house up. And do you want to know something? It was one of the happiest years of my life. I absolutely loved that bloody caravan. I really did. So, I know you appeared...
That is a really nice story, that.
It is.
Yeah, it is really lovely.
I know you appeared in the TV programme 15 and a Half Stone Baby. And I think you were very, very brave to do so. I mean, I've been asked on numerous occasions to do TV and documentaries where camera crews follow me, but I'm always turning them down as I'm frightened to death of them. I'm very distrusting of the media and their manipulation and unfair representation of our community. Did you feel you were represented fairly, and did you experience any adverse reactions?
We have had a lot of adverse reactions. You've got to be careful with media, because they say one thing and then do the opposite.
But we were quite happy with this programme, because we knew the researcher on the programme, because she came to us when she was 18 from university, from a professor, and she was doing a dissertation on fetish photography and journalism.
Okay.
And she picked fetish lifestyles to highlight, and she wanted to do a little programme about us. And her and her roommates came round, and they did a little thing about, oh, goodness me, what it was about, it's got to be, I don't know how long ago now. And she did a little play, and she came back again later on, and her name's Annabelle Draper, and she does all sorts of other things now. She's all pretty and grown up and confident woman with a young man in London. So, and she brought the programme producer to us because I trusted her. And it was her and the producer, that followed us to Florida in it. So it was a lot more fun than it looked, because there was only a very short film of us in Florida, because originally it was just going to be about the two of us, the whole programme.
Yeah.
And then they got a new producer in, and then everything changed. And they had to film us again. because we were followed around for 2 years.
Wow.
Gosh.
Yeah, I know.
It was a long 2 years.
Yes, and then so when we went to Florida, they sort of followed us. I'll tell you a little incident because it was highly amusing. We flew out with Virgin Airlines, and because they had to get permission for us to fly, use cameras in the airport, it had to be all sent from Channel 4. So, of course, we was going up to the front desk, and there was this lovely, beautiful, shiny lady in all her virgin red, and she said, "Oh, it's your special holiday. We would like to present you with an upgrade for your group." So we got this fantastic £900 each upgrade.
Oh gosh.
Well, that was a
That was
bonus.
good.
It was wonderful. We had champagne. We had everything. We didn't go to sleep because we were worried about missing something. But no, and on one of the flights, oh no, it was that flight actually. We had a young lady we took with us. She wasn't shown on the film, but she did have some medical needs, and you had trouble changing her, didn't you, in one of the toilets?
Because she had a disability, she couldn't actually close the tabs on her nappies herself.
Yeah.
So we had to do it for her. I managed to change her in the toilet twice, and on the third time I said to her, "I can't do this. It's too much." So I went and had a word with the stewardess, and I just said to her, "Look, it's just the biggest toilet you've got on the plane." And she said, "Well, what's the problem?" And I explained to her that we had a girl with us that was, still in nappies, and I was having trouble changing her. And she said, "Oh, don't worry," she said. "Give us 5 minutes," she said. "We'll close the aisle off both sides of the toilet, and you can change her in time."
Oh, that was nice.
Do you know what that shows?
That shows how tolerant people can be, can't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
When
And
explained to.
they even got, didn't they? They even got baby bottles with milk, and we took one of them held them up so we could take a picture of her for our website.
Oh, that's
really
lovely.
lovely.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fabulous.
Very cool.
Yes, they were. But that's how I got into doing the 15 stone babies. You wanted to do it more than me at first.
Yeah.
But we've done quite a lot of filming with other countries, not in other countries, I wish, but they've, German TV, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and 2 from Holland,
Oh,
from
lovely.
Amsterdam,
And
over the years.
were you happy with all of the publicity that you got? Because you did say you had adverse reactions. In what way did you have adverse reactions?
That was from the actual stories we did for papers.
Yes, we did magazine articles.
We were approached by somebody when we was in Liverpool who wanted to do a story about us.
Yeah, that was my fault.
We were due to go on to This Morning
Yes.
The TV
show.
Okay.
They'd already agreed it, and it was all going ahead. This young
She was a cub reporter. She just
lady
wanted to
come to the house.
to me about doing an interview.
Yeah, she was only going to speak about it. She asked us a few questions. Virtually ran out the door, went straight out. Within half an hour, she'd put it on the internet.
Yeah,
Oh.
I had to take the website down.
What she wrote was not good.
Yeah,
And of course, then we lost the This Morning programme.
yeah, they
Oh,
cancelled
no.
it because she'd done a public thing about us. So we lost. What was it? They were going to pay us £2,000 for appearing, which I thought was reasonable.
Yeah.
They'd have to pay a bloody sight more now.
Yeah.
And so that was unfortunate. Well, my mother-in-law, she thinks that it was the fact that they'd had a morning of 50 Shades of Grey on the same week. And it
Oh.
was well received. So she thinks that's why
they didn't have a supplement.
we were cancelled. But people really misunderstand adult babies so much.
They really do. They do. I mean, on my last podcast, I mentioned the fact that I was actually accused of being a paedophile. Oh, yeah. Oh, I really was. And because I'd made audio for adult babies, and it was horrendous. So I do understand when you take the sort of backlash because of what you do. It's like devastating.
Yes, it can be. Yes.
So
yes, it really can.
Now you're back. I'm glad to say.
Yeah.
And you know,
I've been back a few years. I have been back a few years. It was about 4 years ago. I took a year off.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a while, a couple of years to sort of get
back up again and running.
Get to what I want to be. I'm just happy to be here. I was very, very lucky.
Yes.
So,
well, that's a wonderful thing, and I mean, I am so pleased that you're okay.
Yeah, the only difference, for me now doing it, I can't offer breast suckling or sort of anything like that anymore. And some babies understand that, and they're more than happy just for me to cuddle them.
Yeah.
And just be petted. But you do get the odd chap that rings up and sort of lovingly says to you, "Oh, you can't offer that." No, well, I had breast cancer, so I'm not able to offer that. Oh, well, have you still got your tits?
Oh,
well,
God.
You don't want that type of person anyway.
No, you don't.
I know.
That's not a genuine adult baby. That's just somebody getting off on it. I mean, I was approached literally within the last 8 weeks by a television company because I do, as you did, offer breast suckling and that type of thing. And they said they wanted to do a documentary about the fact that I did do that. And again, I had a long conversation with her, but I did turn it down. And I think...
me as well.
Did they?
I think so, if it was the same people.
It probably was. It probably was. But the thing is, I mean... If somebody approaches you like that and they say something as crass and as cruel as that, you don't deserve it. You're better than that. So just take no notice of them.
No.
But now you are back. Would you like to tell everyone where your nursery is and how they can reach out to you?
Yeah, well, we're near Abergavenny. In South Wales.
Oh, lovely.
Which is around about an hour.
About an hour from Cardiff.
An hour from Cardiff and an hour from Bristol, roughly.
Yeah.
And we've got quite a big airport in Cardiff and coach station. Derek does pick people up, and that's included in any visit that's over 4 hours. We are called back to the nursery now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we have to change our number.
Yeah.
Well, how did they reach out to you? Are you advertising? Are you on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter under the heading of backtothenursery.com.
Well, I'd like everybody to go out now and follow
Mummy Maxine.
Mummy Maxine at backtothenursery.com.
And we'll link all our little HTMLs and
on
stuff.
our YouTube
Yeah, we'll link
channel.
everything for everyone.
And, I would like to say this to everyone. Mummy Maxine has been with Daddy Derek in the adult baby community for a long time. And so she has earned the respect of everyone, and she's done a lot for the adult baby community by putting herself and Daddy Derek out there and trying to gain acceptance. So please follow her on Twitter, and remember, she's been through a horrendous time, and if you're only going to ask, can you breastfeed off her, then don't be so disrespectful. But for all those genuine adult babies out there, visit her, give her your support.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted. Well, you wanted to say, didn't you? Derek's on Twitter under Daddy Derek, separate to me, and we wanted to both say that it's a pleasure talking to you, and we do all the things with the articles and the TV and anything we can pick out of the love and memory for a dear person we knew that couldn't understand what he did, and he took his own life.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That is why we do as many things, and we take flack, because if we can help just one person, not to think that they're on their own. You know, quite often we've been late night just talking to somebody, and you know, and I'd also like to say a shout out. He's got a vanilla life, so he's never included in anything else we do. But his name is, to me and Derek, is Baby Monkey. And when I came out of some of my cancer treatment, Derek would take one hand and Baby Monkey would take my other hand. And
oh God, I'm getting upset now. Oh dear, that's so lovely.
And you know, I just wanted to say that I can't congratulate him or praise him on his media sites or do anything.
Yeah.
I know some of his family, but they don't know what we do. And he's very open, and he's been friends for 10 years. He started off as a client, and then we had a little bit of a personal emergency that happened when he was there, and he ended up protecting me and waiting for you to come home, and then it just snowballed, and he's just our friend. That's just an understatement of saying that he's our friend.
He's the family that you can choose.
Oh yeah, because my family, I just have my mum and dad. Everybody else just decided after the 15 stone babies that they couldn't have me entering the house.
Oh, I've been there.
Because they had children who were 17 and 18 at the time.
Yeah.
And they knew about us anyway, but they changed their mind. So, yes. So I just have my mum and dad. Everybody else has decided then. They don't. Derek has his own theory, don't you? Why you think that they turn their back on me?
Get jealous.
Yeah.
Well, I understand, because I don't have any family. I have no parents. My parents died when I was young, but I do have a brother, and I remember when his partner at the time was having a baby, and I went to the hospital to see the baby, and she just said to me outright, I don't know where you've been. I don't know if you've washed your hands, so please don't touch my child.
Oh, so that was the last time you saw them?
I haven't seen them in a long time. So I understand what it's like. And that's why, like you, my babies, to me, are the family that I chose.
Yes, yeah.
And that's how you know when somebody is genuine, like you. You've got babies that you care about deeply. It's not like, don't get me wrong what I'm going to say, but there are some ladies now that have come into this, and it's all about the cash.
Money.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. I see them on Twitter, the pay pigs and such.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
I hate
say
that.
They're ladies, but they are, in my opinion, they are not ladies. You know, I know there's all kinds of ladies. I mean, I put my sissy girls, you know, I know they're boys, but to me they're girls.
They're girls, yeah.
And they are much more ladylike.
Oh, I like that. That's very true.
Well
said.
A flash of the fanny or their nappy.
Oh, love it.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I'm so impressed. That is absolutely true.
No,
That
that's
is,
exactly what we feel.
we feel the
I'll
same.
get lots of flack for that, but I'm no objection to anyone using what they have
No.
to get what they want.
Exactly.
But there are ways and means, I think, of I try and be lazy and
Having
polite.
some dignity.
Sometimes it doesn't work, and I do let the odd exclamation of things that I may not should say
Yes.
at various times. But I do try always to be... very difficult for me to be professional sometimes, because sometimes the babies will say something and it will really upset me, because I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I've just gone through a very harrowing couple of years privately, because when I was a child, I was abused for 4 years by an adult in the family.
God, that's terrible.
It was only when I met Derek, and he got me to get help, that someone had told me that I'd actually been raped repeatedly.
No.
For about 4 years. I didn't know what it was, and my mother didn't want me to tell anybody because of the shame. And so I never
well, I
told
understand
anybody.
that more than you know, because...
Yeah, and I met Derek, and he helped me get help. And so that's another reason that we do the things we do, because I know what a real paedophile is.
Yeah.
And what they're like. And they are nothing like adult babies.
Nothing.
I mean, obviously, they are across the board. There are people like that, men and women, right across the board in all
walks of life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying every adult baby is a perfect human being, but by my experience,
Shouldn't be judged.
we shouldn't. Yeah. Yes, darling. Yeah.
Going back to what you said, I do understand that there is a huge difference between adult babies and men, and I'm saying men that want to sexually abuse children. When my mum had to go into hospital when I was very young, I was sent to stay with my grandmother and grandfather, and I remember my grandmother trying to fight my grandfather off because he ripped open her blouse in front of me and started to play with her breasts.
Yeah.
And a few years later, when I was a little older, before I lost my parents, we lived in council housing. And do you know what a ginnel is? You know, where you've got a house and then you've got an arch and then there's a sort of a ginnel to get into your back garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, I'm as a dog leg.
It's a northern thing. And I was coming home from school and I was going through the ginnel and my granddad was in the ginnel waiting for me, and he pushed me up against the wall and tried to put his hand up my skirt, and I fought him off and ran round the back of the house. And when I told my mum just said, and she was very, anti anything like that, she said, "He's a disgusting old man. Don't tell your dad," because she knew my dad would have killed him. But she'd experienced stuff like that with her own father, my granddad, and he was never allowed to the house again.
Oh, right.
So I understand that babies are not paedophiles.
No.
No.
I don't understand. Why can a celebrity presenter go to a dominatrix and be beaten, snort cocaine, and still keep his job, which is fine. What you do in your private life is,
your private life.
Yeah. But if somebody, God forbid, wears a beautiful frilly dress and matching panties, and that's found out about, it's the end of the world. I don't understand.
Do you know what I think? Okay, this is what I think. I think in the vanilla society, there are gay men, heterosexual, there are bisexual people. But if you were to publicly say you're an adult baby or a sissy and you're gay or heterosexual or bisexual, that's sensationalized. It's okay to be bisexual if you're a normal vanilla person, but not if you're a baby.
Well, this is well, I mean, both Derek and I, as we grew up, we liked pop stars of girls or boys. And as I got older, I realised that I liked some girls maybe more than other girls liked girls. Yeah. And some boys. And Derek had the same with boys, didn't you? Yeah. And so we didn't know what we were just happy. But
back in them days, we didn't need a label.
You know, but now we have to identify as, well, we don't identify as bi. We just like who we like. We're quite happy with each other. We don't swing or anything like that. I find the feminine in Derek, and occasionally he finds the masculine in me, because it's quite a standing joke. He does say to me sometimes, "You realise you haven't actually got a set of real bollocks, don't you?"
Well, I've had a relationship with a woman, and I think it's the person that you fall in love with. It isn't the sex.
And their qualities. And sometimes it's their weaknesses that you fall for.
That's true.
Well.
That is true. Their vulnerabilities.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Especially me, I love to look after people. I'm terrible. That's why I'm always baking. My cousin says to me, you must be part Jewish. You're always trying to feed people. Well,
there's nothing wrong in that. Well, I would like to say thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast, because it's been amazing and it's been a pleasure and a privilege to chat with you. And, if you ever want to come on again, when we do next month, we're going to be covering our sissies. So if you'd like to come back on and chat about your experiences with sissies, you will be more than welcome.
That'd be very nice.
Yes, that would be lovely. Thank you very much.
And, Daddy Derek is also welcome, and I will continue to recommend people to you because, if I'm not in the north of England, who better to come and see than you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
My pleasure. So have a lovely Sunday, and Nanny Lee and I would like to say goodbye.
Yeah, it's been great, and I want that bread recipe.
I will send it.
Thank you. All right. Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I also hope that you found it as interesting, informative, and revealing as we hope you did. If you did, and you'd like to hear more of our podcasts about the ABDL, sissy and fetish community, please like, subscribe, and follow. Because the more people that we can reach, the more people that understand about the fetish community, the better, as far as I'm concerned. And so I shall say goodbye from me, Mummy Amanda, and
from me, Nanny Lee.